Hi third graders, it's Miss Mauer here with another read aloud for you. Wilbur is in this video too. So today we are going to read, let's see what we have. Magic School Bus, Lost in the Solar System. I know that you are all probably familiar with these books, and some of you might have read this one already because you just got done learning about the solar system with Mrs. Scusa. And originally I would have been in the classroom with you guys teaching about the solar system, so I got this book for us to read in class. So I thought I would read it to you guys here. So let's see. The Magic School Bus, Lost in the Solar System by Joanna and Bruce Degen. Now, if you're familiar with the Magic School Bus books, they have a lot of writing on the pages. Every page is like this. So I'm gonna do my best to read all of all of the information. If I don't read a certain little part, it's because that I might just accidentally miss it, or if it's just a little snippet of conversation between two people, it might not really pertain to the story. I might skip it, but I'm gonna read the majority of it for you guys. And I'm gonna do my best to show you where I'm reading so you can follow along. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best with this one because it's a lot. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get going. Let's see, there we go. It was trip day again in Mrs. Frizzle's class. Everyone was excited. We were going to the planetarium to see a sky show about the solar system. Class, an orbit is the path of a planet or other object around the sun. I knew that. I get all A's in school. I have 5 computers. My class went to the planetarium last year. He's thinking, what a show-off. Thanks for inviting your cousin, Arnold. She's actually nice when you get to know her. Arnold's cousin Janet was visiting our class for the day. I know all of you will be nice to our class, said the Frizz. So let's go back over here, and this says, What is the Solar System by John? Here's John right here. The solar system is the sun and all the bodies that orbit around it. The planets, their moons, the asteroids, comets, and other chunks of rock, ice, and dust. All of that is included in the solar system. Yep. We got the little lizard over here trying to eat that apple. We tried to be nice to Janet. We really did. As we got on the school bus, we told her that Miss Frizzle is the weirdest teacher in school, but Janet wasn't interested. She wanted to tell us about herself. My school is taller than your school. Our swings are better than your swings. My teacher is weirder than your teacher. Who wants a tall school? As usual, it took a while to get the old bus started, but finally we were on our way. As we were driving, Miss Frizzle told us all about how the Earth spins like a top as it moves in its orbit. It was just a short drive to the planetarium, but Miss Frizzle talked fast. This bus is a wreck. At least it started this time. We have new buses at our school. When the Earth spins, we say it rotates. The Earth makes one rotation turn every day. Let's see what this little thing says. What makes night and day? By Phoebe. The spinning of the Earth makes night and day. When one side of the Earth faces the sun, it is daytime on that side. When that side turns away from the sun, it is night. So every day our Earth spins one whole time. Every single day. So just think about it. Right now, you're sitting on an Earth that is spinning around the sun. Isn't that crazy? And we don't even feel anything. When we got to the planetarium, it was closed for repairs. Class, this means we'll have to return to school, said the Frizz. We were so disappointed. Back to school? I'm so depressed. My planetarium is always open. There's his cousin. On the way back, as we waited at a red light, something amazing happened. The bus started tilting back, and we heard the roar of rockets. "Oh dear," said Miss Frizzle. "We seem to be blasting off." "Here we go again. Not another crazy trip." "Children, we are going through the atmosphere, the layers of air around the Earth. I guess we'll be seeing the solar system after all. My bus has bigger rockets than your bus." "Yeah, right, Janet." Okay, so this one says, why are spaceships launched with rockets? Spaceships cannot just fly into outer space. They need rockets to break free from the powerful grip of Earth's gravity. What is gravity by Michael? Gravity is the force that pulls objects toward the center of the Earth. Other planets have gravity too. Larger planets usually have more gravity. Smaller planets usually have less gravity. We are so lucky to have gravity on our planet because otherwise we'd be floating around and our stuff would be everywhere. We would be lost without gravity, literally lost in space. Alright, let's see. When the roar of the rockets stopped, we looked around. Everything had changed. The bus had turned into a spaceship. We were all dressed in spacesuits, and we were lighter than feathers. We floated above our seats. I'm flying! I'm flying higher than you are. Look, it's a UFB. A what? An unidentified flying banana. So let's read here. Why do people feel weightless in space? Excuse me. By Phil. A spaceship and the people in it both go into orbit around the nearest planet or sun. When this happens, the people are no longer pulled toward the floor of the ship, so they float around. There's no more gravity, so they're floating, and that's what it would be like if we did not have gravity on our Earth. Far behind in the black sky, we saw the planet Earth getting smaller and smaller. We were traveling in space. We had become astronauts. Look how small the Earth seems from here. Class, notice Earth's blue oceans, white clouds, and brown land. It's beautiful. I think I have to go to the bathroom. Well, I don't think they're going to be able to turn around and bring that person to the bathroom. The Frizz said our first stop would be the moon. We got off the bus and looked around. There was no air, no water, no sign of life. All we saw were dust and rock and lots of craters. Miss Frizzle said the craters were formed billions of years ago when the moon was hit by meteorites. Meteorites are falling chunks of rock and metal. It was fun on the moon. We wanted to play. But Miss Frizzle said it was time to go, so we got back on the bus. We'll start with the sun, the center of the solar system, said the Frizz, and we blasted off. We are so light on the moon. That's because the moon has less gravity than the Earth. Look how high we can jump. I was in a national jump rope contest. I won, of course. Is there a national bragging contest? Alright, let's read these. What makes the moon shine? By Rachel. Before I read that, if you can think in your head, what do you think makes the moon shine? Do you think it glows just like the sun glows? Like how it projects all that light like the sun does? Or why do you think the moon is shining? Let's just think before we read it. Okay, I have my idea in my head, so let's see what the answer is. The moon does not make any light of its own. The moonlight we see from Earth is really light from the sun. It hits the moon and bounces off, the way light is reflected from a mirror. So we learned all about that in science class when we had those mirrors and we had the prisms and we were reflecting light. and trying to see how we can make different shadows, cool things like that. We did a lot of cool experiments with light. So the moon and the sun are kind of like that. The light from the sun comes and it shines against the moon, and that light bounces off and shines to us. So to us, it looks like the moon is shining like the sun would be, but really, it's the light from the sun reflecting off the moon like a mirror. Like when we shine the light on the mirror and the light's reflected back, that is what is happening. So let's read this last little part. The Moon's Orbit by Amanda Jane. The moon travels in orbit around the Earth, just as the Earth travels around the sun. So you can see in this little picture, here's the moon going around the Earth, here's the Earth that goes around the sun. So while the Earth is going around the sun, this little moon is going around the Earth, and then he'll be going around the sun with the Earth. Like that. Point back again. And I know you probably know a lot of these facts, but I'm just reviewing with you. Like I said in my other video, it's always good to review. Even if you know something, you should always review. Alright, let's keep going. We zoom toward the sun, the biggest, brightest, and hottest object in the solar system. Jets of super hot gases shot out at us from the surface. Thank goodness Miss Frizzle didn't get too close. You should never look directly at the sun, children. It can damage your eyes. And you should never drive a bus directly into the sun either. And right here, these are some solar flares that are huge explosions on the sun's surface. These really happen. These big fires just coming out of the sun. She steered around to the other side and pulled away. We'll be seeing all the planets in order, class, explained Frizzy. Mercury is the first planet, the closest to the sun. Alright, my school is heated with solar energy. I have a sun deck. I have 10 pairs of sunglasses. Give us a break, Janet. Poor Janet. Alright, and then this down here says that these are sunspots, that they're areas that are cooler than the rest of the sun. So these are not as hot as the rest of the sun. So, let's go back over here and read over here. This says, the sun is a star by Carmen. Our sun is an average star like the ones we see in the night sky. This sun says, which star do we see only in the daytime? That's easy. The sun. How big is the sun? By Gregory. Our sun measures more than 1 million kilometers across. More than 1 million Earths could fit inside that. Just think about that. More than 1 million Earths could fit inside the sun. That I can't even think about how big that would be. That's insane. Okay. So, let's turn the page and go to Mercury. Mercury was a dead, sun-baked planet. This planet is a lot like our moon. There's no water and hardly any air, said the Frizz. Notice the craters on its surface as we pass by. It says the sun looks so much bigger than it does from Earth. That's because Mercury is so close. Too close! Let's go! Before long, we felt ourselves being pulled in by the gravity of Venus, the second planet from the sun. Venus was completely covered by a thick layer of yellowish clouds. We will now explore the surface of Venus, said Miss Frizzle. We're gaining weight and we haven't even had lunch. We will be heavier here than on the moon. Excuse me, guys. We will be heavier here than on the moon or Mercury because Venus has more gravity. So, the more gravity you have, the more heavier you're going to feel. We're weighted down to the ground. The less gravity you have, the lighter you're going to feel. And you're going to be floating around and you're not going to feel stuck to the ground. So, let's see. So, this is a cool little thing. This says your weight and fate on Venus. So if you weighed 85 pounds on Earth, it would feel like you weighed 77 pounds on Venus. And let's go back, we missed a spot. If you weigh 85 pounds on Earth, it's like only weighing 32 pounds on Mercury. So Mercury was a lot lighter than Venus is. All right. Below the clouds, Venus was as dry as a desert. The ground was covered with rocks and it was hot. It was about 460 degrees Celsius. 460 degrees Celsius. Can you even imagine that? That's much hotter than an oven baking cookies. The air was so heavy we could feel it pressing down on us. Miss Frizzle said there might be active volcanoes around too. We said, let's get out of here. Our next stop is Mars, the red planet, fourth from the sun, announced the Frizz. On our way, we'll be passing through the orbit of Earth, the third planet. The bus lifted off with a roar. There's no life on Venus, class. It's too hot, it's too dry. There's too much acid. Let's leave. I've been to Mars lots of times. Just ignore her. All right, let's go back here and read our little facts. Why is it so hot on Venus? By Ralph. Venus's atmosphere has a lot of carbon dioxide gas in it. Carbon dioxide acts like a blanket to hold heat in. So here, all the heat is staying in. So that means it's very hot. When heat is trapped like this by a planet's atmosphere, it is called the greenhouse effect. It Never Rains on Venus by Dorothy Ann. Venus's clouds never make rain because it is too hot for rain to form. Any liquid on Venus dries up instantly. All right. I think Wilbur's enjoying the book. As we came close to Mars, we passed its two moons, which are called Phobos and Deimos. Compared to our moon, they were tiny, and they weren't even round. Here's Phobos. You can see that kind of shape. 18 miles long, it says. And here's Deimos, which is 9 miles long, so about half the size. Looking down, we saw a huge canyon. Miss Frizzle said it was as long as the United States. There was a volcano 3 times taller than the tallest volcano on Earth, and all around there were channels that looked like dried up riverbeds. Ice could be found under the soil. All right. Those are moons. They look like potatoes with craters, excuse me. Long ago there was water in those channels, but today Mars's water is frozen in the polar ice caps and in the channels. So here's the frozen water. Here's the channels. Here's the canyon. It's a little deeper than all these little channels. It says Earth is the best planet for life. That's why I live there. Janet likes to be the best. We noticed. As you can tell, a lot of Janet's comments are, she's trying to, show off. Okay. Why are Mars's moons round? By John. Large moons are round because of their gravity. Billions of years ago, when large moons formed, their gravity pulled in their material evenly and made them round. The moons of Mars are so small that they don't have enough gravity to be round. Is there life on Mars? By Molly. No, life has been found on Mars. No life has been found on Mars. Living things need water, and there is no liquid water on Mars, so space scientists think life probably cannot exist there. So let's see. If you weigh 85 pounds on Earth, you will weigh 32 pounds on Mars. We landed and started walking around. Suddenly, a huge dust storm blew up. Miss Frizzle said dust storms on Mars can last for months. They may cover the whole planet. We scrambled back on the bus and headed out. Are there any aliens here? I don't see any. Don't be too sure. Oh no, he's saying that she's an alien. Okay, Why is Mars Red? By Arnold. Mars looks red because there is a lot of rusty iron in its soil. The sky looks pinkish because of red dust in the air. Mars is the last of what we call the inner planets, Miss Frizzle shouted above the roar of the rockets. We will now be going through the asteroid belt to the outer planets. Isn't space travel exciting, Arnold? I really prefer video games. What are the inner planets? By Alex. The inner planets are the 4 planets closer to the Sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The 4 inner planets are all hard and rocky. Alright, we're going through the asteroid belt. Thousands of asteroids were spinning all around us. All at once we heard the tinkling of broken glass. One of our taillights had been hit by an asteroid. Miss Frizzle put the bus on autopilot and went out to take a look. She kept on talking about asteroids over the bus radio. The largest asteroid is only 1/3 the size of our moon. Most asteroids are the size of houses or smaller. Suddenly there was a snap. Miss Frizzle's tether line had broken. Without warning, the rockets fired up and the bus zoomed away. The autopilot was malfunctioning. On the radio, Miss Frizzle's voice grew fainter and fainter. Then she was gone. We were on our own. We were lost in the solar system. Kids, I'll meet you later. Come on, Miss Frizzle, do you read me? Alright, let's go over here and read this quick. The Asteroid Belt by Shirley. The area between the inner and the outer planets is called the asteroid belt. It is filled with thousands and thousands of asteroids. What are asteroids? By Flory. Asteroids are chunks of rock and metal in orbit around the Sun. They may be building blocks of a planet that never formed, or they could be pieces of planets that broke apart. Right. Most of us were too scared to move, but Janet started searching the bus. In the glove compartment, she found Miss Frizzle's lesson book. As she began reading from it, a huge planet came into view. Class, this is Jupiter, Janet read. It's the first of the outer planets and the largest planet in the solar system. She shouldn't touch Miss Frizzle's things, but this is an emergency. As we approach Jupiter, we can see some of its many moons. We thought the school bus was going to land, but there was no solid ground to land on. Jupiter is a gas giant, a planet made entirely of gas. As we left Jupiter, we wondered and worried, would we ever get home? Here's a great red spot. And it says, Jupiter is so big that more than 1,000 Earths could fit inside it. That is a lot of Earths. All right, let's look over here. What is Jupiter's great red spot? By Gregory. The red spot, which is right here, is probably a huge storm of swirling gas that has lasted for over 100 years. Okay, let's go back to here and see. This is interesting. If we weigh 85 pounds on Earth, you're going to weigh 215 pounds on Jupiter. So you definitely don't want to be going to Jupiter. Alright, let's see what our next planet is. We're getting really close to the end here. Please bear with me. Okay. The next sight made us forget our troubles. It was Saturn, a gas planet like Jupiter. It had swirling clouds and lots of moons, but the most incredible thing about Saturn was its rings. It was the most beautiful planet in the solar system. What are Saturn's rings? By Rachel. Saturn's rings are made of ice, rock, and dust, all in orbit around the planet. Oh, look at this. There are thousands of rings around Saturn. That is pretty interesting. And they're made up of these little bits of rock, ice, and dust. Let's read this. The Floating Planet by Phoebe. Saturn is made of materials that are lighter than water. If there were a bathtub big enough, Saturn could float in it. And it says if we weighed 85 pounds on Earth, we would weigh 91 on Saturn. Alright, next was Uranus, a blue-green gas planet with faint gray rings and moons. Some scientists think they might be made of chunks of graphite, the material used in pencils on Earth. Methane gas in its atmosphere makes Uranus look blue. You look kind of blue yourself. I'm freezing. That's because we're so far away from the sun. The Tipped Over Planet by Ralph. Uranus spins differently from the other planets. It seems to be lying on its side compared to most other planets in the solar system. So here is Uranus, here's Earth. It's different, isn't it? And let's see, if we weighed 85 pounds on Earth, we'd weigh 77 on Uranus. The bus was going faster and faster, and we couldn't control the autopilot. We swept past stormy Neptune, another blue-green planet, 8th from the sun. All we could think about was finding Miss Frizzle. Neptune is the last of the giant gas planets. And if you were on Neptune, you weighed 85 pounds. On Earth, you would weigh 97. How long is a year? By Tim. A year is the time it takes for a planet to go all around the sun. Neptune and Uranus are so far away from the sun that they have very long years. 1 year on Uranus is 84 Earth years. Neptune's year is 165 Earth years. So think about that. If you were on Neptune for 1 Earth year, it would be 1 year on Neptune is like 165 years on Earth. So that is just crazy to think about. If you went to Neptune for 1 year and you came back to Earth, no one that you know would be there because it would have been 165 years on Earth compared to the 1 year on Neptune. So crazy, isn't that cool? We were going so fast, we almost missed seeing Pluto and its moons. Charon is the biggest one, and Hydra and Nix are smaller. We were so far away from the sun that it didn't look big anymore. It just looked like a very, very bright star. Here's Pluto, which is not a planet anymore, so this book is a little outdated. And here's Charon. I don't see anything but stars. Another star may have life on it, one of its planets. We'll have to wait and see. I hope Miss Frizzle is waiting too. Look at this, is the lowest weight we've seen yet. If you weigh 85 pounds on Earth, you will only weigh 6 pounds on Pluto. Is Pluto a real planet? By Wanda. People used to call Pluto a planet. Then scientists saw a lot of small bodies out beyond Pluto. They are called Kuiper Belt objects, KBOs for short. Now scientists call Pluto a KBO or Plutoid. Okay, so they don't categorize it as a planet in this book, so I guess it is more up to date than I thought. Janet flipped rapidly through Miss Frizzle's book. Suddenly, she found something new, the instructions for the autopilot. We punched in asteroid belt on the control panel. Slowly, the bus turned around. It was working. We were going back. Janet really saved the day. I told you she's a good kid. So, Beyond Pluto, Stars and More Stars by Alex. Beyond our solar system are billions and billions of stars. There are so many stars, and they are so far away that our minds cannot even imagine it. Some of our stars appear to have planets, and some of those planets, could have life on them, just like our Earth. Yay! They found Miss Frizzle. When we reached the asteroid belt, there was Miss Frizzle. Hey, that asteroid is just funny. That's not an asteroid, it's Miss Frizzle. Boy, am I glad to see her. Me too. With Frizzy back at the wheel, the bus headed straight to Earth. We re-entered the atmosphere, landed with a thump, and looked around. Boys and girls, we are arriving on Earth, the third planet from the sun. We were in the school parking lot. Again, the rockets were gone, the spacesuits were gone, the bus was a wreck, everything was back to normal. Thank goodness. Hello again, old friend. So here they made a little chart about all the things they learned about the different planets. And it says, in the classroom we made a terrific chart of the planets and a mobile of the solar system. So after they made the chart, they put together this really cool mobile that shows the sun in the middle and the planets surrounding it in order. At last, it was time to go home. It had been a typical day in Miss Frizzle's class. Now we had only one problem. Would anyone ever believe us when we told them about our trip? We went to outer space today. Of course you did, my dear. My favorite planet was Jupiter. No, maybe Mars. Of course Saturn was gorgeous too. Mom, make him stop. And there was Miss Frizzle, floating among the asteroids. What an imagination. We could have been lost in space forever. Eat your salad, honey. Apparently no one believes that they went to space. Awesome. That's the end of that book. I know it was a little longer than the other read aloud, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was really good review for all your solar system facts. I know Wilbur liked listening to the story, helped him fall asleep a little bit. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go and learn something new today and be creative, maybe get outside. Alright, bye guys, see you later.